you spoke of some positives, and I'm going to ask you the question about the positive impact of lockdown. And if I remember correctly, there was I think more in favor of positive
Yes.
than though marginally, but it leaned towards positive. So some other positives that you have seen as a educationist, just very quickly. So
Yeah. So, Rabindra, I think what happened strangely was that COVID affected everybody, right? Everybody. If it was lockdown, it wasn't just the people in Dharavi who were in lockdown. People in every area of the city, the country, the world just went into lockdown. COVID was a leveler like no other.
yeah,
We haven't had any phenomenon that made us realize that okay, my situation is not very different from the situation of so many millions across all over. And I think it was also the perfect time to be able to have to get visibility of areas that were totally zoned out for especially the privileged children. Conversations on TV, conversations on the dinner table were about things that were not going well. And I think that automatically kick-started a sense that could not have been induced in the classroom earlier. I had conversations about how to give back, what can we do.
yeah,
Parents began those conversations, pulled children into it, and willy-nilly the kids came and became part of this. And if you have conversations with children who have gone through that process, today you'll be able to have conversations that are very mature and very adult conversations about giving back. Community service that was a mandated tick on a checkbox all this time suddenly got reworked. I do believe that for this, the last 5 years or more, empathy, compassion are things that we really did need to teach. And COVID managed to teach those to children. So service learning went through a space, like an overdrive, like no other. And we didn't have to do anything about it. I mean, all you needed to do was stand and encourage children to take on the mantle of making a difference, and it happened. The other funny thing was that bullying stopped. There was no physical interaction, right? No slimy word that was getting passed down, no nudging that happened that indicated to the bullied child that things were not okay. Uh, uh, Suddenly, I had quiet children who could talk because there was no fear
brilliant.
of facing an audience, right? They were in the confines of their room, the comfort of their home. Their parents would be somewhere around within shouting distance. This child who was underconfident and demotivated was suddenly liberated with just having to engage with the screen and zap out everything else. And I think that was immense. I know that the other word that has been again bandied about a lot is student agency, and I know that we are running short of time, but having students take on a greater responsibility for their learning to drive their learning and understanding was just immense. I mean, there's no way that we are going to not develop student agency now. We should not, because we should make our children more and more self-reliant on being able to understand a problem, crack a problem, find solutions, especially when they are stuck. So,
Right.
there's going to be no way that a student can say, Miss, can you please solve this problem? I think students will have to learn to say, hey, I have to solve this problem by myself. Yeah. So I think the positives have far outweighed any of the terrible things that COVID has done. So I remain an optimist.
No, I totally agree. And I like to tell this story to everyone. Uh, I think apart from me in my household, my older one, because the younger one is only 5, the older one, I think both of us understood the difference between charity and kindness. And that's another story to tell. But, I was involved in a social initiative, and very clearly, my older one was very affected by it and he participated, which I thought was just a fabulous character building
Yeah,
exercise. So
absolutely.
no, thank you. I totally agree with you. I believe there are more positives, and I agree with what you said about looking at the glass half full
Yes.
rather than looking at it half empty.